This is Hunter Biden, the son of President Joe Biden. Back in 2014, Hunter Biden joined the board of Burisma Holdings, a Ukrainian natural gas company. At the same time, then Vice President Joe Biden was the Obama administration's point man on Ukraine. As vice president, Joe Biden met with Ukrainian leaders on a number of occasions in an effort to encourage them to fight against corruption and rein in the power of its oligarchs. And one of these oligarchs was this man, Mykola Zlochevsky, the founder and president of Burisma Holdings. On April 28, 2014, the United Kingdom's Serious Fraud Office launched a money laundering investigation against Zlochevsky and seized $23 million in assets. So the investigation into Zlochevsky started in April 2014. In May of 2014, Hunter Biden accepted a position on Burisma's board. But it's fine, guys. Hunter is a private citizen. He can do what he wants. Just think about this for a minute. At the same time that there was an international investigation into a corrupt Ukrainian oligarch, and while the Biden-Obama administration was accusing the Ukrainian government of being soft on corruption and propping up said oligarchs, the vice president's son accepted a job for a reported $50,000 a month from a corrupt Ukrainian oligarch. Sounds good to me. What's your problem? And outside of a few White House officials, the Obama administration looked the other way, and most in the media couldn't have cared less. I know you're shocked. And it wasn't until 2019 when President Trump brought it all up in a phone call to the president of Ukraine. During that call, Trump referred to this moment where former Vice President Joe Biden bragged about getting a prosecutor fired.
And I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. They were walking out to the press conference. I said, no, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired.
As it turns out, the prosecutor who Biden demanded be fired, Victor Shokin, was investigating Burisma Holdings. Just bad optics, guys. Nothing to see here. So in 2019, the media tried to run damage control for the former vice president by interviewing Hunter Biden and getting his side of the story.
Did you and your father ever discuss Ukraine?
No.
But according to the New Yorker magazine, that's not quite true. As Hunter recalled, his father discussed Burisma with him just once. Dad said, I hope you know what you are doing. And I said, I do. The day of the interview with Hunter, Joe was asked about it during the 4th Democratic presidential debate on CNN.
Mr. Vice President, as you said, your son Hunter today gave an interview, admitted that he made a mistake and showed poor judgment by serving on that board in Ukraine. Did you make a mistake by letting him? You were the point person on Ukraine at the time, if you can answer.
Look, my son's statement speaks for itself. I did my job. I never discussed a single thing with my son about anything having to do with Ukraine. No one has indicated I have.
Well, no one except his son. So back to the Hunter Biden interview, where Amy Robach asked him why he didn't discuss his board membership at Burisma with his dad.
My dad was Vice President of the United States. There's literally nothing as a young man or as a full-grown adult that my father in some way hasn't had influence over, as it does not serve either one of us.
It didn't serve either one of them. In other words, by not discussing foreign business, that gives Vice President Biden plausible deniability. Because if Hunter being on the board of Burisma was completely on the up and up, why would it be a big deal to speak to his father about it? Well, it wouldn't. And remember, just because Joe supposedly didn't speak with Hunter about his experience with Burisma doesn't mean that Joe didn't know anything about it. In fact, it seems like one of two things were going on. Either Joe was oblivious to the fact that Hunter was making a mistake, or Joe knew and just didn't care.
When he said, I hope you know what you're doing, what did he think you were doing?
Well, he read the press reports that I joined the board of Burisma, which was a Ukrainian natural gas company. And there's been a lot of misinformation about me, not about my dad. Nobody buys that. But it buys this idea that I was unqualified to be on the board.
What were your qualifications to be on the board of Burisma?
Well, I was vice chairman of the board of Amtrak for 5 years.
Because his dad is Amtrak Joe, that's why.
I was the chairman of the board of the UN World Food Program.
Again, because of his dad.
I was a lawyer for Boies Schiller Flexner, one of the most prestigious law firms in the world.
Boies Schiller Flexner is just a repository of Democrat lawyers who have represented clients like Theranos, several tobacco companies, and Harvey Weinstein. Need I say more?
You didn't have any extensive knowledge about natural gas or Ukraine itself, though.
No, but I think that I had as much knowledge as anybody else that was on the board, if not more.
So everyone on the board knew as much or less about Ukraine and natural gas than Hunter Biden did, which was nothing. What?
In the list that you gave me of the reasons why you're on that board, you did not list the fact that you were the son of the vice president.
Yeah, no.
What role do you think that played?
I think that it is impossible for me to be on any of the boards that I just mentioned without saying that I'm the son of the Vice President of the United States.
So obviously Hunter Biden was not qualified to be on the board of a natural gas company in Ukraine, but that alone doesn't mean that there was illegality going on. So the question is, why was he on the board? In the New Yorker article, a former senior White House aide said that Hunter should have recognized that at least some of his foreign business partners were motivated to work with him because they wanted to be able to say that they were affiliated with Biden. In other words, Burisma and Zlochevsky were using Hunter, and Hunter and his father were either too naive to realize it or just didn't give a fuck because of all that sweet, sweet ching-ching-ching.
You never thought, this might not look right.
You know what? I'm a human. And you know what? Did I make a mistake? Well, maybe in the grand scheme of things, yeah.
Well, at the very least, he made a mistake based on poor judgment, which Hunter seems to have a lot of. For example, back in May 2013, at the age of 43, he joined the Navy Reserve to serve as a public affairs officer. 1 month later, after reporting to his unit and taking a urine test, he tested positive for cocaine and was ultimately discharged from the Navy Reserve. Now, I'm not going to make disparaging comments about someone's problems with drugs, but I will make fun of Hunter for the ridiculous excuse he gave. According to the New Yorker, the night before Hunter's first weekend of reserve duty, he stopped at a bar a few blocks from the White House. Outside, Hunter said, he bummed a cigarette from two men who told him that they were from South Africa. And after he tested positive, Hunter wrote a letter to the Navy Reserve saying that he didn't know how the drug had got into his system and suggesting that the cigarettes he'd smoked outside the bar might have been laced with cocaine. Totally plausible. Then, in late 2020, it was revealed that Hunter Biden was the subject of a federal investigation for money laundering and tax fraud. In a statement, Hunter Biden said, "I take this matter very seriously, and I am confident that a professional and objective review of these matters will demonstrate that I have handled my affairs legally and appropriately, including with the benefit of professional tax advisors." That last bit about his professional tax advisors is his preemptive excuse. If the investigation does find wrongdoing, he's going to throw them under the bus. Not that he'd actually be convicted. He's a Biden. But whatever, I like due process, innocent until proven guilty and all that. However, you'd think that Hunter might want to lay low for a little bit, at least until the investigation runs its course. But instead, the New York Post reported that Hunter Biden was preparing for his first solo art show with George Burgess Gallery, which posted the following bio. A lawyer by profession, Hunter Biden now devotes his career to the creative arts. Because at this point, no one in their right mind would hire him as a lawyer. Look, if the millionaire son of the president wants to hold a solo exhibition to show off his work, who are we to say no, right? But then it was revealed that these paintings are expected to be listed for $75,000 to $500,000 each. Nope, not shady at all. Seems totally legit. So Hunter Biden, who has been accused of trading in on his father's name, is now going to sell his art for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And this is an ethical dilemma, as someone could buy a painting with the intention of currying favor with the Bidens. In other words, they wouldn't be buying the paintings per se, they would be buying influence. But don't worry, the White House has a solution. On July 8th, the Washington Post reported that White House officials helped craft an agreement under which purchases of Hunter Biden's artwork will be kept confidential, even from Hunter himself, in an attempt to avoid ethical issues.
Did the White House play any role in crafting the sales agreement with the New York Gallery to protect the purchasers or the ultimate purchaser's identity?
Well, I can tell you that after careful consideration, a system has been established that allows for Hunter Biden to work in his profession within reasonable safeguards. Of course, he has the right to pursue an artistic career, just like any child of a president has the right to pursue a career.
Oh, of course.
But all interactions regarding the selling of art and the setting of prices will be handled by a professional gallerist adhering to the highest industry standards.
So the same professional gallerist who is listing Hunter's work at $500,000 is also expected to be completely ethical. Only the highest of standards, guys.
And any offer out of the normal course would be rejected out of hand, and the gallerist will not share information about buyers or prospective buyers, including their identities with Hunter Biden or the administration, which provides quite a level of protection and transparency.
So the gallerist will supposedly reject offers that the White House wouldn't approve of, but at the same time, he's keeping those buyers secret. So if the White House aren't going to ever find out, then where is the incentive for the gallerist to reject offers?
Well, I think it would be challenging for an anonymous person who we don't know and Hunter Biden doesn't know to have influence. So that's a protection.
So for the sake of transparency, the buyers' identities are going to be hidden from the public. And since Hunter isn't going to be meeting with those potential buyers in person, maybe it could work.
Hunter Biden is expected to meet with potential buyers of his paintings at art shows later this year. As CBS News reports, those meetings would be seemingly at odds with an arrangement that's trying to keep the identity of those buyers secret from Biden, the White House, and the public.
So it went from the sales are going to be completely anonymous to Hunter's going to be at an art show mingling with people who are looking to buy his art. And that revelation led to an amusing exchange between White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki and Rachel Scott of ABC News.
Councilman Hunter Biden, you confirmed yesterday that he will be meeting with prospective buyers, but you also said that he's not going to have any conversation.
Not that he's meeting with prospective buyers, that he is attending gallery events that had been prior planned and announced.
There could be prospective buyers there.
He's not, those discussions will be happening with the gallerist, but that is different than meeting with prospective buyers.
How? How is it different? Damn, she is just the worst at her job.
If there are prospective buyers there, you said yesterday that he is not going to have any conversations related to the selling of art. How can the administration guarantee that?
Well, Rachel, they can't. The White House cannot control the content of conversations between the artist and people attending the event, nor can they control what a buyer does beyond the sales process.
Are there any specific procedures you can tell us that are being put in place to ensure that these conversations remain, as you say, not about the sales? Will he get ethics training?
Will Hunter Biden get ethics training? Talk about too little too late.
Will he have to report afterwards about the conversations? Anything specific you can tell us about how you are monitoring this?
Well, again, I think it is certainly a commitment that has been made by all parties involved.
All parties involved? Really? Jen Psaki is full of it because the White House doesn't know who is planning on attending these so-called art shows, nor do they want to know. And of course, the White House can't guarantee that Hunter Biden will never find out who bought his art. What's stopping someone from buying it anonymously and then letting Hunter know about it later? Hey Hunter, just so you know, I bought your art. We need to talk. But don't worry, while there's nothing stopping Hunter from eventually finding out who bought his art, the general public will be completely in the dark. And the Biden administration wouldn't have it any other way. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching, sharing, and slamming that like button. Be sure that you're still subscribed to the channel. And as always, I hope to see you next time. If there is a next time.